So we're here on a farm in Windward, Oahu, where we source some of the cacao from this beautiful tree right here. These are the cacao pods. The farmer will ferment them for a week and dry them out and then pass them on to us. At the Madre Chocolate shop, we're turning them into some of Oahu and Hawaii's finest chocolate.
One of the magical things about making chocolate in Hawaii is that the chocolate makers and the cacao farms are all together here on a single island. So it allows us to work together and collaborate in ways that most people in the traditional chocolate making world have never dreamed of. Because usually cacao is grown in Africa or Latin America, shipped halfway around the world to manufacturing facilities in Europe or the mainland US. And the people making the chocolate never meet the farmers, and the farmers often never get to taste the chocolate that their beans are transformed into. Here in Hawaii, we can just run down the road to pick up the cacao from a farm, and usually a few weeks later, we're back there with talking with the growers and tasting the chocolate, complimenting each other, and also thinking about things we might want to do differently for the next crop. Now, one of the things that cacao is important for is to nourish the agricultural economy here in Hawaii, because it is not clear how we're going to keep all of this agricultural lands with some of the pressures from tourism and for development. And so every crop we can get and for diversified local farms to help sustain those rural communities and farming communities and their economies is really critical.
To see what the unfermented seed tastes like. Can you cut that guy open for me? It has none of the rich chocolatey notes before the fermentation, so we feel like the fermentation adds about 3/4 of the final flavor of the chocolate, and the farmer is responsible for most of that flavor.
You can see that bright purple color, which as it ferments will get transformed into a darker brown. But that's all of the flavonoids, the antioxidant, the superfood qualities in the cacao are lent from the compounds that are creating that purple color.
You ready to start planting your own cacao farm?
Yeah.
My name is Claire Sullivan. I'm the Hawaii Coordinator of Purchasing and Public Affairs for Whole Foods Market. Cacao is one of the newest crops that's really gaining a foothold in Hawaii, which is particularly exciting for those of us who are chocolate lovers. But one of the things that's happened in Hawaii is that since the sugar and pineapple plantations have primarily shut down, we've lost a lot of economic activity that was agricultural in nature, and we have a lot of fallow acreage. So we're looking for opportunities to use that acreage, to put that land to good use in producing food. And cacao is one of the new crops that's starting to take root here. We have producers on several islands. We also have this really exciting new group of folks who are doing bean-to-bar production. So they're working with beans that are coming from farmers throughout the islands. They're doing some blending, they're doing some inclusions, they're coming up with really creative and exciting flavors.
We're Manoa Chocolate, and we are in Kailua, Hawaii, and we make chocolate from bean to bar, kind of like the equivalent of a microbrewery, except we're making chocolate, so we're a micro battery. For this bar in particular, this is our breakfast bar. It's our most popular. We'll take our Wailua coffee beans here, and this is how we make our chocolate bars. Every single one of our bars are done exactly like this. And then we'll take our nibs from Hamakua here. And so this is a neat bar because it's chocolate in two very different forms than people are used to, and it adds a really nice texture. It also makes it healthier. The reason people are always saying dark chocolate's so good for you is because the nibs have no sugar in them. They're really, really good for you. And so by putting nibs back on top, it's a really nice health benefit. And we have our finished chocolate bar. And then, so it should have the snap that I was talking about. You should have that. You should hear that. You want that.
The thing that I really love about chocolate making is when somebody bites into a piece of chocolate and it melts on their tongue and unleashes wave after wave of amazing flavor, it transports them somewhere magical. And as chocolate makers, we're the stewards for that journey, so we get to take you somewhere. And here in Hawaii, we really get to transport them back to where their food is from, and connect them, weave that relationship between the person tasting the chocolate makers, and the land and the people that were responsible for growing the cacao that resulted in those amazing flavors that they're experiencing on their palate. So weaving those relationships together is just really the beautiful, magical part of chocolate making for me.